Pachama is a technology platform that allows companies that are seeking to achieve net zero or carbon neutrality to support reforestation or forest conservation projects. And we validate the carbon sequestration of those projects using satellite images and artificial intelligence. I came to UpLink attracted by the community. I had several friends who were part to different projects in the past, and really I found already an incredible community of very passionate entrepreneurs, scientists, and innovators that are very helpful. They want to help unlock some of the most important solutions for the challenges of today.
I am so excited to close out our keynote program today with an important solution to help fight climate change. My name is Sherrie Totoki, and I am the Director of Startup Programs at GreenBiz. I am joined today by Betty Cremmins, Lead for Engagement on Nature-Based Solutions at the World Economic Forum. Betty, you are tackling a major challenge and quite possibly the largest opportunity of our lifetimes: decarbonization through nature-based solutions. Being at a conference around reaching net zero targets, can you tell us a little bit about the link between nature-based solutions and net zero emissions?
Sure, thanks so much for having me, Sherrie. So as you all know, we need to be well on our way to having emissions by 2030 and working towards net zero by 2050. And net zero commitments are hot right now, pun intended. And I think we can all agree that we need to be rapidly working on decarbonization and at the same time investing in nature. We know nature is both an emissions source and a sink, and we need to be making sure that we're making the right investments to make sure we're harnessing this awesome trifecta that we can get by working on nature. We can be addressing climate change, working to protect biodiversity and ecosystems, and if done right, investing in frontline communities around the world. There's all sorts of examples of this being done really well. One is the LEAF Coalition, which launched during President Biden's Climate Leadership Summit earlier this year, which is working to raise $1 billion from public and private funds to work on avoiding tropical deforestation in jurisdictions and avoiding emissions there, while really working with frontline and indigenous communities in those regions.
Great, and it's promising to see that there are already examples in the market of these solutions being implemented at scale. But I know we can do so much more, which is why you're launching the UpLink Carbon Markets Challenge today at this conference. Can you tell us a little bit more about the challenge and what you're looking for in these solutions?
Sure. So as you saw in the video, in order to solve these big challenging issues, we need innovative new thinking to bring in new models and catalyze action in this space. And so I've been really inspired by some of the ecopreneurs, as we call them, who have come through the previous UpLink challenges, folks from the Sahel working to support the Great Green Wall across Africa, or these awesome youth ecopreneurs working with the hashtag Generation Restoration to bring their fellow youth on board. And so today we're working to launch the Carbon Markets Challenge through UpLink. And we're going to hopefully source all these fresh new ideas from folks all over the world to help us scale these markets quicker. We're looking for solutions in two different buckets. We're really looking for really cool lighthouse projects that we can hold up as best practice examples. We're looking for things around avoided deforestation, restoration of forests, some agricultural emissions, as well as even blue carbon solutions from coastal mangroves. And then on the other bucket, we're looking for ways that we can innovate and sort of scale the markets tomorrow, things that will build trust and transparency in the markets, things like geospatial tools, financial instruments, and even matching or collaboration platforms to bring everyone together. And I think the really critical part about this challenge is, while it's called Carbon Markets, the tagline is really essential. So the subtitle is Unlocking Finance and Technology for People, Climate, and Nature. And the co-design experts who helped us craft this challenge were really clear that we can't think of these things as co-benefits, they have to be core benefits. And we need to be using carbon markets to really invest in people and ecosystems.
I completely appreciate this holistic approach that you're taking to this challenge. And given the emergence of recent investigations that have shown some offsets, including those that have been purchased by major companies, don't always deliver the climate benefits that sellers claim, how do you ensure that the innovations you are selecting will help to protect the integrity of this market?
It's a really critical point. And, there's so many conceptual and technical hurdles in this space. We hear about additionality and permanence, and, we're dealing with nature here. We need to be sort of very, very careful as we do this. So my colleagues at the World Economic Forum have been putting out a series of reports and guidance to really help companies navigate this space. We released a report earlier this year called Nature Net Zero, which outlines all the ways to strengthen the markets, the supply, the demand, and the markets themselves. And then just last week, we released guidance called Natural Climate Solutions for Corporates, which is meant to be a sort of checklist for companies who are looking to invest in this space and want to get it right. And I remember back in 2014, 2015, when I was at CDP, and companies were really struggling to understand what a science-based target was. There were all sorts of definitions, and we needed the Science-Based Targets Initiative to sort of give guidance. Same thing on renewable energy. REBA really helped provide a lot of toolkits for companies. And I think the same thing is happening in the natural climate solution space. Most companies really want to get this right and just need this guidance to do it credibly. And so, the World Economic Forum is trying to use all of its power to help shift the narrative. I think this Carbon Markets UpLink challenge help shift finance, and hopefully collectively we can help shift emissions.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Betty. I'm so excited to see where this challenge goes and learn about the winners making an impact in this space. There are so many ways to get involved with World Economic Forum. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, for this UpLink challenge specifically, share it with your networks. We're now open for submissions, and we'll be open through September 5th. We'll then select the cohort with a series of experts. And when we announce the winners just before COP26, we hope you'll help us celebrate them, invest in them, give them higher profiles. We really want to see the best solutions really sell out. And then more broadly, if you have a net zero goal and you're looking to figure out where you sit in the natural climate solution space, you can join some of our initiatives. So the two initiatives leading this challenge are the Natural Climate Solutions Alliance, which is working to help scale carbon markets broadly, and 1T.org, the Trillion Trees platform, working to conserve, restore, and grow 1 trillion trees. So come and join us, pledge your support, and help drive this demand campaign for this space. So whether you're an investor, a net zero implementer, an ecopreneur, there's lots of ways to jump into the nature and net zero space.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Betty, and back to you, Jim.